Mayday! Hold one to mission control, we're falling!
Developer Don't Nod's name will always be associated with its most popular IP, the teen angst-em-up episodic choose-your-own-adventure series Life is Strange. But did you know that the studio has actually released some other games too? Things like Remember Me, Vampire, Tell Me Why, Banisher's Ghost of New Eden, and coming this spring, its new game Aphelion, which I, Eurogamer's Ian Higton, got to sample during a recent hands-on session.
Thomas, wherever you are, I'll find you.
But what even is Aphelion? Well, at its most simplest, it's probably best described as a sci-fi Uncharted. Sci-farted? But without all the shooting. That means lots of climbing things that conveniently fall down after you've jumped off of them, lots of falling off of things and grabbing hold of scenery at the very last moment, and lots of squeezing through tight gaps in walls so the next bit of the game can load. But Aphelion is also a spooky sci-fi story.
Holy shit.
So there's stealth, alien life forms, and a big old freaky mystery that will have you scratching your head all the way through to the end of the game. As Don't Nod is primarily known for its narrative-led games, especially Life is Strange 1 and 2 and Tell Me Why, it's fair to say that some people out there might expect there to be some kind of branching narrative in Aphelion, or perhaps even multiple endings that are affected by the choices that you make throughout the game. And, well, those people would be absolutely wrong, because Aphelion tells one linear story with one single ending, and there are no narrative choices to be made by the player at all.
Come on, come on.
The rhythm of the gameplay instead switches between moments of walking and exploration where the story is fleshed out a bit, and then action sections that involve the aforementioned climbing and stealth elements. In terms of the overarching plot, Aphelion is set 40 years into our future, and it asks the important what-if questions about our current climate change crisis. What if things go properly tits up and we need to find a brand new planet to pollute and pockmark with imbecilic wars before ours burns us all alive? What if the researchers currently trying to work out if there's a ninth planet in our solar system actually do discover a ninth planet in our solar system and name it Persephone, and what if we actually went there to see if we could colonise it? Well, as Hollywood has shown us multiple times in movies about Mars, nothing ever really goes to plan in these kinds of quick let's save humanity situations, and at the start of the game, our two playable protagonists, Ariane and Thomas, crash land on Persephone and get separated in the ensuing chaos.
Oh, God. You'd better have made it out of there.
Don't Nod purposefully hid the intro cutscene from us at the preview event, so we don't actually know how this crash happened. But the gameplay kicks off with our spacesuit sporting astronaut Ariane here waking up in the wreckage of the ship's cockpit. What follows after this is a story that takes place over the course of around a 24-hour time period, where the action switches back and forth between Thomas and Ariane across 11 chapters that, according to the developer, average about an hour's playtime each.
Please, answer me!
During my hands-on demo, I only played 2 of Ariane's chapters, Chapter 1 and Chapter 4, with my play session starting from the moment she wakes up after the crash. Upon opening the cockpit door, you are immediately thrown into the action, simultaneously trying to keep Ariane alive as she slides down a huge length of ship, whilst also trying to comprehend the scale of everything around her. This ship is unfathomably massive, and its crash landing has spewed wreckage for miles and miles. In regards to the 2 astronauts, Ariane is the main character and is much more action-oriented than Thomas, and she does a hell of a lot of perilous climbing for someone who is encased in a spacesuit. To help Ariane with these improbable gymnastics, there are a lot of conveniently placed yellow ledges around the ship, along with white ledges in the snow, which allow Ariane to clamber her way to survival through increasingly treacherous terrain, as she launches herself across huge gaps like she's got a helmet full of helium. Oh, and there's also one of those really annoying bits in the ship where you have to slowly walk across a beam and balance yourself with a thumbstick as you do so. Or at least I think they're annoying anyway. Along with all the Uncharted-style climbing, there's also a large focus on stealth elements, which I experienced in Chapter 4, which opens up with Ariane stuck at the bottom of an ice hole, the opening of which looks a little bit like the hole in a toilet seat. Or at least that's what it looked like to my weird mind, so it's probably just my weird mind being weird. But it does work metaphorically, because down here she's properly in the shit, as there's something lurking down here that is intent on turning our favourite astronaut into an astronaut.
I knew it. I knew it. Something moved there.
I'll be covering this threat later down this list, but suffice it to say, this chapter involves plenty more ledge grabbing, along with a bit more of that annoying balancing. Plus, some heart-in-your-mouth sneaking through maze-like caverns as this unknown entity continues to hunt Ariane.
It's like something's got me exactly where it wants me.
If Ariane is the main character in Aphelion, Thomas here is the sidekick.
What?
Now, I didn't get to play any of Thomas's chapters, but after watching chunks of this gameplay, it's clear that his experiences will be very different to Ariane's. For a start, Thomas is injured, which means he won't be doing as much traversal as Ariane, and in fact his gameplay seems to be following the more traditional Dote-Nod narrative route, with a focus on investigating his surroundings to make the plot progress. And what weird surroundings he's found himself in, because in this gameplay he's exploring an unexpected human settlement on Persephone, and, in his own words,
First crew on Persephone. I thought that was supposed to be us.
yeah, odd that. He's also running out of oxygen too, which probably doesn't help his predicament. It looks like he's able to refill his lung food at certain points in the game like this one though, so this mechanic should be a good way to increase the pressure on the player and add some excitement and danger to Thomas's more sedate sections. Onto one of the main features of the game now, or at least it was during my demo time, and that is the traversal. The climbing mechanics here are fairly simple and accurate, which means that leaping from ledge to ledge is rarely frustrating. But it also felt so predictable and by the numbers, because so many games that I've played before have done all this stuff, and probably a little bit better too. Climb this, mantle that bit's probably going to fall off and create a very coincidental route up this wall, or block off that route, so you have to go the long way round, and so on. You do need to press X on the Xbox to grab when you're leaping from one ledge to the other in order to catch it without slipping, which I guess is a new mechanic, and it does heighten the tension a bit, although if you do fumble you get a chance to regain your grip by pressing A. Oh, and despite this tease of a rover vehicle early on in the game,
Luckily, we still have the rover.
it won't be possible to drive around Persephone, so thank God for the next section. Yep, Ariane may not have wheels, but she sure as hell has tools, including a grapple gun that locks onto an intended surface nice and easily, and not only gives Ariane the ability to climb up vertical surfaces, but also swing across large gaps and use the rope to run left and right along walls in order to reach far ledges. When she's not reaching for rock faces, Ariane can also pull out her navigator, a handheld tool that shows you where your objectives are in the world, so that the main gameplay remains UI-free. You know, for extra immersion. Ooh. Scanning around with your navigator also helps to make you feel active when tracking your progress, or trying to find your way around an annoyingly unexpected dead end, like this one.
another way quickly. Whatever it is, it's getting closer.
Right, we're finally onto the weird creature that's on the hunt for Ariane in Chapter 4. The Nemesis, as it's known, is this weird kind of glitchy, twitchy mix of the smoke monster from Lost and a graboid from Tremors. The Nemesis is made of water and its different forms, so ice and gas, and as such it can blend in with the environment, meaning that you never know where it will come from. You do get some indicators when it's close by though. Something about the presence of the Nemesis interferes with our astronauts' technology, making lights flicker and static appear on the screen. Doubling back to the stealth elements of the game, the Nemesis is actually blind, which is why Ariane needs to do a sneaky sneak here in order to not do a dive. So in Chapter 4 it's mainly a game of hide and seek, although the Nemesis does gain extra powers as you progress through the game, like ranged attacks, which is something that you can also counter with extra abilities that Ariane earns as she goes.
Breathe and step. Breathe and step.
One really important point to mention though is that because the Nemesis is the leading form of life on Persephone, it's both very aggressive and it is the only enemy in the game. Yep, that's right. There are plenty of other environmental hazards that will do you damage, but the Nemesis is the only monster you'll face. You cannot defeat it, and it will chase you throughout the entire game.
Shit. Gotta keep this quiet.
In terms of Aphelion's visuals, it is quite the looker, especially if you like snowy vistas and realistic facial animations. There are some really impressive moments of spectacle here, an early favourite of mine being this one. And occasionally the camera will even pull out Death Stranding style to showcase some incredible snowy landscapes or cavernous caverns, which feature some stunning lighting that causes flakes of snow to glitter in the air. These awe-inspiring sights pop up pretty regularly and really help heighten the sense of exploration, but at the same time they can also make the landscape itself feel dangerous and threatening as you try to plot a course across the jagged rocks and knife-like ice formations with bottomless pits and sheer walls dotted around between them. Basically, aside from a few glitches with the traversal animations and a missing sound effect or two, both of which we were told would be fixed well before the game's release, I really enjoyed having Aphelion's graphics rubbed in my eyes and its audio poked into my ears, so hopefully you should too. Thanks to the verticality of Persephone and its ability to create big spiky walls of ice from seemingly nowhere, you can expect to die quite a bit in Aphelion. Almost all the deaths that I witnessed seemed to be instantaneous. One mistake and splat, you're a deado. Reload last checkpoint. Which may be frustrating for some, especially as Aphelion has no difficulty levels at all. On the plus side, however, it does have lots of accessibility options instead. So, for a few examples, you can toggle off having to press X to grab a ledge when you jump if your reactions aren't great. You can completely turn off the balancing minigame, thank God, and you can even tailor the visuals in order to better highlight grabbable ledges.
What on earth is happening? Damn it. What happened here?
So then, it's time for my final thoughts based on my demo time with Aphelion, a narrative adventure set on an uncharted planet where pretty much all of the gameplay elements have been charted a long time ago. If the quality of the writing, the story, the mystery, and the character growth is up to Don't Nod's usual standards, then this should be enough to keep the game from dragging during its approximately 11-hour runtime. But as much as I appreciated the visuals and the hints of exciting sci-fi shenanigans to uncover, The over-familiarity with almost every aspect of the gameplay, combined with the lack of variety in threats, meant that I felt like I was retreading old ground rather than embarking on a journey of discovery.
Hello?
Thanks so much for watching this preview of Aphelion. What do you think? Do you want to play it now? Has this put it on your hype radar, or do you just not give a crap? Let us know in the comments below. Please do like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to us here at Eurogamer for almost daily videos about video games. Now, please enjoy the upcoming advert for the Humble Bundle that you probably won't watch because the YouTube analytics show us that no one ever does, but there's going to be another video to click on in that section, and it's a pretty good video, so you should go stick around. Goodbye!